Hello, it's Nikki and welcome back to Wednesday, where I talk about speaking up, I talk about visibility, I talk about content and basically putting yourself out there so you can meet your ideal clients and meet your business goals as well. So we can all make a plan that looks good on paper plan. And yet those looks good on paper plans sometimes do not work. And usually that is because there is something going on under the surface in terms of our mindset, how we're feeling about the situation, something that is perhaps unhealed or triggered within us. And I always see it as our responsibility to be an investigator and figure out what those things are. Now, I would love to be able to say that this is an instant thing that you're like, oh, that's what it is. That's what it is. It can be that sometimes, but equally it can be a bit of a process as well. So I urge you, as you go through these exercises, as always, to apply as much kindness and compassion as possible. We need it. So often our default voice in our heads can be one of, well, it's because you didn't do this, or maybe it's your fault, or whatever the voice that likes to swim in that place. But whilst we're together, for the purposes of this, just go slowly but surely and let's figure it out together. So, number one, how this can show up in your visibility. You're trying to be all the things to everyone and you're not directly talking to your customer. Now, for those of us who were conditioned as girls, who are women, there's very much this sense of being the hostess with the mostess. Being the kind person, being the person that maybe does Christmas, being the person that never forgets, is just so automatic with this whole process that that's just the way that it rolls. And with that, take that responsibility goes into our business. Because then when we start to help other people, which are maybe outside of our family and our friends in terms of our clients and our customers, we somehow want to apply the same thing. We don't want to leave anyone out. We don't want to leave anybody behind. We want to be all the things to all the people. And what happens is, instead of being that person who helps everybody, we give ourselves an impossible task. Meaning, with the best will in the world, with the greatest intentions, we are never going to be the person for everybody. And what we end up doing is, in that pursuit of trying to please everybody, we miss out on going deeper and broader and wider with our actual customer, who is like, please, I feel like there's something here. Can you just tell me a bit more about it? Can you just guide me? I'm here, I'm available, I'm waiting. So here I want you to notice, is this something that happens a lot? Are you second guessing yourself? Are you trying to add in all of these different things? Well, it could be for this person and I don't want to leave this person behind, etc. I want you to trust that because there are people out there who can do other things. They can support all of those things. Almost like if you were a food brand and you were a vegetarian food brand, and you know that not everybody wants to be a vegetarian, the people who are experts in meat and fish and dairy, they can take care of that. You just need to do the things because the people who are vegetarian just want to hear from you. Number two, I want you to notice what your relationship with visibility is and what it is based on. I was having this chat with my nearly 9-year-old the other day about our family values, essentially. And I haven't bought a board from Etsy or anything like that. But just, we talk about it a lot because he's in that place in the classroom where they're so aware of each other. This person's allowed to do this. They said this. They thought that was all right. I'm not sure. Can I do this? It's all about working out and being exposed to all the different boundaries. And one of the things that I was really noticing in terms of my relationship is how steady I want to keep my house and have this steadiness in our family that whatever happens out there, when they come home, they know what to expect. There will be fundamental, safe things that are in place. And I have really thought about my visibility and my selling in those terms. I know that if I allow myself to make things up as I go along or see how I feel on the day, it all becomes very consuming and overwhelming very, very quickly. So what I have discovered is with visibility, and of course I'm always doing my own work, like why isn't this happening? Is there something that I need to look at within myself? But generally what I'm looking at is how can I have strong foundations with my visibility that are reliable, that are consistent, that are easy to do on a regular, consistent basis, not that are based on how am I feeling today and therefore making a decision from that place. It's so key because this is the difficult thing. When we are the face of our own business, it can feel all consuming and the lines can feel really blurred. And so we have to operate from two different spaces. That space where you are you showing up as you, but also that admin and structures and systems of you that help keep the party going. Number 3. I know that lots of you are not taking enough space and you are worried that you're not an expert enough yet. And this is a really interesting thing in terms of there's so many conversations about imposter syndrome or not feeling good enough or you're winging it or you're going to get found out or all of these conversations in the female entrepreneur space. The truth is, most of these conversations are not even occurring to most male conversations. It's a conversation that has been met with female ambition. I don't know where it's come from, but it's almost like just to let you know, like it's fine if you do all, this is not me saying, this is like a society version. It's fine for all these women to be in work and earning big money and doing all of these things. But just to let you know, we're going to sprinkle lots of imposter syndrome conversations around this as well. And I reject that because actually when I go and see an expert, I want them to be in their full version. I don't want to necessarily hear their answer to imposter syndrome because that's not the most interesting thing about them for me. I want to learn from them. I want to be in this engagement and have that conversation. Whenever I get stuck, whenever I have that wobbly day about, am I good enough? Can I do this? Can I say that? All of that stuff. I give myself a little laugh and I say, think about all of the things that you are absolutely terrible at. And I can give you a list. There are so many things that I would not be the person for the job. And so therefore, if I recognize them and I label those and I fully accept those, I have to give myself permission to accept the things that I am good at as well. And that has been a really interesting shift for me. Number 4, when everything feels a bit random and it doesn't have a rhythm to it. I do lots of things in my week and my year can really take on different chapters. But there are fundamental things that I do within my business that keep the machine going. And this could be like paying for my website every single month, posting content daily, answering emails, pitching myself, these sorts of things. And so if I leave it to the random of like, what shall I do today? It all just becomes a little bit of a guessing game. And so when I started my Substack, for example, that was another thing that I was craving. I wanted to have a rhythm in my week. So I knew what I was posting on a Monday. I knew what I was planning on a Tuesday, all about money and pricing and packaging, etc. So I want you to notice today, where are the bits in your business that you are leaving to chance, that you're just hoping that they will appear and it will be all right? Or if you don't feel like it today, it doesn't matter, you'll do it tomorrow. I want you to begin those rhythms in your business, because once you set those rhythms going, people will start to tune in with that rhythm. They'll come to expect it. They'll engage with it. They'll look forward to it. And that will be really great in terms of having those consistent things in an inconsistent world. Number 5, one final thing in terms of visibility that I want you to look at. Do you have a call to action, and do you have any urgency? This is something I really learnt the hard way. And I think this comes from, again, I didn't want to be a sleazy salesperson. I didn't want to be pushy. Maybe I felt uncomfortable putting myself out there, all of these things. And yet I've realized that when things are murky or not clear, it's not helping anybody. You know those friends who are so easygoing and they just don't mind what we do. They think that they're being really easygoing, a great friend, not demanding, really flexible. But sometimes we all want somebody else to make a decision and to take the lead and to say, it's this or this, which do you like? Being in this very passive, like, I don't mind, whatever, it's actually not helpful. It's actually not a sign of being a great friend, because it takes you out of the game. It takes you out of the game of being responsible, of getting things done, of driving something forward. And I see so many people who conduct emails and everything's a bit casual, everything's a bit relaxed. And yes, we don't necessarily want to have that formality or that like, I need this and I need it now. We don't want that starkness. Equally, if we just end up chatting the whole time, that is what it will remain. And I know that you want to hit some really fantastic, brilliant business goals. So in having that in mind, you have to go first. You have to say, right, if I'm here and I want to get to there, I have to drive it forward. We can't wait. The amount of times where I hear my clients saying, I don't know, I put something out there and I'm waiting for clients to come back to me. Well, while you're waiting, get in motion. Don't just assume that these people will come back to you. Again, I was explaining to my nearly 9-year-old the other day, most people won't. And that's not to be negative or cynical, but I was using it in a situation that if he does the things that he says he's going to do, it's going to get him far in life, because most people will give up. Most people will give up when it gets tough. I've had it with acting over the years. The amount of times where people are like, oh yeah, I could have done that, but then I went for this one audition and it didn't work out. And I always just think, yeah, come back to me when you've done 100 auditions. That's when you've really got skin in the game. That's when things really begin to move. And I think often lots of people give up so quickly. Lots of people don't like it when it gets hard. And I think we can be comfortable in the discomfort, because I know I sound like a northern mum here, but like that's life sometimes. And you got to crack on. And for the most part, especially in the visibility, we have it so easy. We have it so easy and right there, right in the palm of our hand. And we have to keep looking outside of ourselves rather than being like, nobody's looking at my stuff. Maybe it's the algorithm, all of that chatter in your head. We have the internet. We have email. You can work from your bed. You have a phone that you can message people on. You have everything that you need. And now it's time for you to unlock and see what's going on underneath so you can move forward. If you've enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe, please follow along, tell your friends, and I'll see you tomorrow for future self and habits and all that great stuff. See you then. Bye.